Wait. So let's back up. Let's rewind just a second. Did y'all catch what she just said? She said she went from being a full-time academic pediatric anesthesiologist in Alberta to being a full-time what?
Welcome to the Doctor's Mentor Show. If you believe that medicine is an industry and not a profession, if you enjoy submitting complex reimbursement claims, or you would do another residency just for fun, be advised, you're about to be offended. You should probably leave now.
All this talk about mentoring doctors is ridiculous. I thought doctors learned to do everything better than everyone else the first year of medical school. At least that's the way they act.
If you love assisting patients with vitality breakthroughs, if the right to practice medicine without interference is important, and you want expert tips for practice freedom and profits to support your epic life, welcome aboard and prepare to be blown away. The Doctor's Mentor Show starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Lori Barr.
I am so excited about our guest today, Dr. Sue Ferreira, who is an amazing lady. I met Sue about 5 years ago, and we were in California at the home of John Assaraf. And when you meet Sue, well, you'll see in just a minute, she bubbles with life, and she is such a vibrant lady. And it's infectious. And I'm so happy to share with you her story and her success as she transitioned out of her medical career. So let me present to you Dr. Sue Ferreira.
Hello, everyone. And I'm kind of excited to be here too. But, you know, it's quite funny. I've just had a party for my 70th birthday, which is coming up in a couple of days, but I'll be away. And I got a cup last night saying I was bubbly too. So I guess I am.
You totally are.
Today's topic.
Sue, just give us a little background about your professional training and what life was like when you were in medicine, practicing as an anesthesiologist.
Okay, well, kind of, you know, the Cliff Notes story is that you probably can tell from my accent. I grew up in the UK and I went to medical school there at University College Hospital in London University. I got my anesthesiology fellowship in the UK. And then in 1976, my sadly now ex-husband, which is part of the story, and I emigrated to Canada. The reason? Well, we really love wild open spaces. And dear old England, it's lovely, but wild open spaces, not a lot of. So we moved to Canada in 76. I did my Canadian anesthesiology fellowship. And then I worked probably for the next 25 years as a pediatric anesthesiologist at the University Children's Hospital in Edmonton, Alberta. And it was great. I mean, I loved it. I had a great career, and I still have a huge fondness for the University of Alberta. And the only trouble with Alberta is it's kind of cold. So sadly, I went to, well, that kind of is really cold. I then had one of those sad grey divorces. Something comes out of left field, and at the age of 60, I got divorced. And you often get a few pivot points in your life, right? And that was in 2007. So suddenly I am getting a different view of my future and a different view of what it's like to be a woman moving into the future. And I'm a real history buff. So, I knew a lot about, the challenges that are going to come up in the next few years. There's pensions, living a long time, running out of money before you run out of life and all that kind of stuff. So it really came home to me. And then I guess the crash in 2008 was my real pivot point where I had I'm kind of anesthesia. It's like bang, bang, bang. You do this, this, this. But I had a extraordinarily emotional experience when I just suddenly realized how many people were going to lose their houses, their cars, their jobs, their savings. And we all know what happened in 2008. And I don't know why, but when I had this incredibly visceral moment, there's this little voice comes up on my shoulder and says, well, someone needs to do something about this. And then this other little voice says, well, why don't you? And I thought, yeah, right. But I did. And so that began my journey slowly from transitioning from a full-time academic anesthesiologist to now a full-time video marketer. So that's really what happened. So
wait. So let's back up. Let's rewind just a second. Did y'all catch what she just said? She said she went from being a full-time academic pediatric anesthesiologist in Alberta to being a full-time what?
Video marketer.
What'd you say?
Video marketer.
Video marketer. Now, this is a success story. And most recently, she's had some amazing success on YouTube, which is where she is focusing her attention. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is why YouTube, why it's a great platform for an expert who wants to establish their authority, and how to leverage your connections and your authority in a big, big exponential way. So take it away, Sue.
Okay, yeah, and I have to say, I'm so lucky because I love this career too, right? And Laurie and I have known each other for 5 years. And I think you'd agree, Laurie, that over those 5 years, we have seen a massive change into video as a means of spreading your message. I mean, it was there 5 years ago, but nothing like now. And I split the world up into the real world, which is your side of the computer screen. And as I say, it's kind of like going through the door at the back of the wardrobe in Narnia. You go through that door at the back of the wardrobe, which is your computer screen, and you're into another virtual world. And when you're in the real world, we all know that the way to get business is to speak and to network. But you can do exactly the same thing. If you go through the door at the back of the wardrobe and into the virtual world, your speaking and your networking morphs into video and social media. They're exactly the same thing. And Laurie and I have seen this massive rise of video and social media in the last few years because, you know, like the iPhone wasn't out 10 years ago. Its 10th anniversary will be coming up in July. So if you go back 10 years, YouTube had been around a year, Facebook a year, and the iPhone didn't even exist. And so everything has changed. And now, if you are looking at marketing yourself, and it doesn't matter what business you are thinking of marketing yourself, video is now your way to go. Because video is already 75% of all web traffic. And that's happened like just in a few years. And social media is totally interlinked with video. And so, you know, really, if you want to market today, it doesn't matter whether you intend to stay locally or you want to go out to the world, you really need video and you need social media. And that's where I think that message has to really sink in, because I don't know if you'd agree, Laurie, but I'm not sure a lot of folks realize how incredibly profound this change has been.
Well, I agree with you totally. And let me just back up and address some emotions that the audience may be experiencing right now, our listeners and watchers might be experiencing right now, and that is video. Wait a minute. Pediatric anesthesia. So you're a person used to your patients asleep in the OR, and you're behind a mask, gown, gloves, and, you know, a hoodie thing, right, on your hair. So a hairnet. So to move from way behind the scenes, behind the curtain, to right out in front of the camera, like, how did you get comfortable doing video, and how long did it take you to get comfortable?
That is a really good question. I guess despite my being, you know, behind the blood-brain barrier, I've always been, I've always enjoyed photography and video. I've never done it as a means of spreading my message, but I was pretty familiar with photography and video. But, you know, the answer is you just hit that red button and you do it. It's as simple as that. And if you're thinking of moving out with video, yeah, I'll be honest, your first ones are going to be absolutely terrible. And when you got on your bike, you fell off the first time, right? Excuse me. So it really is a learning curve. The learning curve is quite steep, though. You'll be surprised how quickly it's changed. And again, over these 5 years that I've known Laurie, video has gone from something fairly complicated. I mean, I have a teleprompter and a camera and all the kind of gizmos over there, and I used them. But like in the last year, 18 months, I've got one of these. That's all you need. So everything has changed. Everything has become incredibly simple. And all you really need to do is think about your message, get your iPhone or your smartphone out, hit the red button, and you're away to the races. It does take time, I'll be honest. I think you don't expect that you're going to rock it on YouTube or anywhere else, probably for a year or so. But start now, because it takes that long to kind of hone your message, hone the way you present things, and become comfortable. And also just be seen, because, kind of a lot of stuff on YouTube these days. So you just have to keep plugging away and hitting that red button would be my answer.
What kinds of videos have you found have attracted your ideal client most rapidly?
The videos you want to make, without any doubt, are the questions that are all about them. The questions that answering the questions that they are worried about. And that is key. It's not about you. Unless you want to introduce yourself and say, hi, my name is Sue Ferreira, boom, boom, boom. But if you go and think about the questions that your patients ask you, the concerns they have, how you can allay their fears, those are the messages that you start. Those are the most powerful, without any doubt. It's solving solutions and providing comfort for others.
And wouldn't you agree, Sue, that an easy way to do that is simply to go to Google and type in the words that you think are keeping your patients up at night?
Yep.
And see what Google pulls up as the search. Yep. And then look at that and answer those questions. That's a great place to start.
And that is absolutely true. If you can't, often you can think about in your daily life, when you're in the office, what patients are asking you. And so you can do that too. And I think you just brought up a really good point, Laurie, because most of our thought is from us to the patient. We tend not to put ourselves in the mind of the patient and how does it feel to the patient? What do they want to ask us? And then what you're saying is just an extension of that, because Google is basically what are people searching for. So Google is your patient typing in keywords, which are vital. And so exactly what you said, you put in whatever into Google, whatever you think, or into YouTube, whatever you think your patients may be worried about, and you just start peeling them off. And then what I would say is you go to YouTube and you put those same words in and you see what videos come up under those subjects. And it doesn't matter if someone's already done a video about it, because yours will be different. But if you've got someone doing videos, it's great.
Right. So if there are videos on that subject, it's a hot topic with patients. So let's talk about that. You're on YouTube, you've searched a subject, you see that somebody who is a real expert in the field already is hot with a video. How can you leverage that?
You can leverage it in a couple of ways. The first thing is you can look at what their message is and how successful it is. And you can take that message. You don't copy it. You don't get into trouble, let's say that way. But the message is there, and the message can be presented in different ways. So you take it and you put your spin on it and you create a similar video. Now, there's a lot more to YouTube in terms of making sure that your search, you're found, but that's another subject for another day. But if there is a mass of videos on a certain subject of which you are an expert, then just look at those videos, see what they're doing, and craft it as your own message. That's the first way. The second way is you begin to find influencers. You find who's already big in the field, and that is huge. Because with social media and things today, you are basically one click away from talking to and getting to know that influencer. And a lot of people don't think that way. So if you know there is someone that you really admire the work they're doing, start following them. Have a look at their YouTube, find their Facebook, find their websites, find their Twitter feed, and just start following them and becoming someone that they become aware of. That is another very powerful strategy.
Recently, you applied that strategy in a very specific way. Would you like to go into some details about that? Because it's so exciting.
Well, okay. There is a gentleman, which you may not be aware of. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. And he is probably one of the biggest video marketer, social media guys on the planet. I mean, someone says, oh, who's big in social media? They'll say, oh, Gary Vaynerchuk. And I admire Gary a lot, but we're so totally different. Like, he's a New Jersey boy, and he's kind of really intense, and his videos are really kind of intense. But there's one that I really love that is basically saying you're never too late to start a new venture. And of course, I felt I was the avatar. So I took his words, and for fun, I wasn't even thinking of this at this stage. I took his words and I recorded his video in my voice. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to be stuck for copyright. So I sent my video to Gary's staff via his website and said, is it okay if I publish this? And very kindly they said yes, and this was months ago. So I published it. My friends had a couple of laughs, and that was it. And then to my surprise, about 10 days ago now, I'm watching my phone and it's going, messages coming in. And I checked, and unbeknownst to me, Gary had taken my video with his words on it, right? And he'd spliced it, Gary's staff, and spliced it into a new video, which literally went viral. 200,000 views now. And I'm thinking, oh, this is a strange world we're living in, 200,000 views. But that has made a huge, that's put me forward into a very different place in one day. It was quite remarkable. I got endorsements from other big leaders. And the only reason I got endorsements from the other big leaders is I was already following them in their space. So for me, it's turned out to be quite extraordinary that one video would do that. It was unintentional. It's the old message, just keep plugging away. You never know what's going to happen,
I think the other key in your story that you do it naturally, but for some people who are still totally immersed in their medical practice, they may be a little rusty at this. Your first 3 words about this experience is that you were doing it just for fun. Fun.
Yep.
It was just for fun. It was just for a laugh. And, we got to learn to lighten up and just have fun. And sometimes when you're authentically you and just having fun, well, guess what? That's when the influencers notice that you are somebody, and you can leverage that relationship in a new way, which is exactly what happened, which is beautiful. So tell us about some of the success, or what have you been surprised about with the blasting of the video, besides your phone lighting up like crazy with messages? What else has surprised you?
I think the reach. I mean, I knew it was there, but it isn't until it actually happens to you that you realize, holy smokes, I probably spent 5 days literally after that video came out answering social media, lovely messages. Messages came out of everywhere. Sue, this is so inspiring. I thought I was too old. Well, you're older than me. All that kind of stuff, In fact, I'm still answering them. And I think it's, especially Laurie and I, because we've been in this world quite a while now, how far you can reach. But it isn't until something happens like this that it really makes you realize the power of video and the power of social media. It is so immensely powerful. And now it's lovely because all of a sudden folks kind of know me much better, and that of course facilitates anything else that I do because now I'm on the radar.
It's just so inspiring, and for anybody who's listening or watching and who thinks they're too old, too fat, too male, too female, too anything, I'm hoping that Sue's message will totally blow you. And this misperception that you may be holding on to, it may be an old idea that you need to release because it's not serving you right now. So if you'll release that idea and just step out and play, you'll be so amazed at what's possible and how much fun you can have in the process. Yes. So you are a person who really does have fun all the time. And even in times of adversity, you've been able to laugh. Can you give people tips on how you stay lighthearted?
Well, this sounds really deep and profound. I woke up this morning. I'm still on the right side of the grass. It's a good day. I really do believe that. I must admit, I get a little bit frustrated by whinging. I've spent a fair amount of time in Africa, And I think I love Africa. I could happily live there, but it's such a different world that I get a bit upset when I hear people moaning and complaining, and sometimes I have to bite my tongue and say, are you hungry? No. Okay. Are you fit? No. You're okay. Okay. Are you warm? Are you clothed? Well, shut up complaining. I think it's just an appreciation that we're incredible. We live so well, and we're so blessed.
Yes.
I've had the most blessed 70 years now. And I just do that, every morning. Oh, woke up, good day. And just keep going on that.
Just to break that down more specifically for the listeners and the viewers, A, you set your intention the minute you wake up that it's a great day because you've woken up. And B, you consistently come from a place of gratitude for the blessings that you have and that you've had for a long time and that you'll continue to have because you're setting the intention for them. So you're grateful for what you already have, and you're also grateful for what you know is coming to you because you're bountiful.
And also, I think there's an acceptance that and again, this is different for different people, but for my personally, I just, as you say, I'm very grateful for my life, and an acceptance that whatever comes, we'll deal with it. And that's
yes.
it. And you peace in your soul.
Right. And peace and flow, to set that tone for peace and flow. To another way people sometimes say that is surrendering. Instead of resisting what you're facing that you may see as an obstacle, just breathing and consciously choosing to surrender to the experience and to understand that it'll be a growth opportunity and that you'll come out on the other side.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And it's funny, I never expected this, but now you see my whole message really, okay, I'm doing video marketing, but the real message behind it is to have people take their wisdom to the world, if you want, because, that we have this opportunity to help people way, way, way around the planet, because what we know, this technology we have literally hasn't rolled around the planet completely yet. I think those of us in North America, there's pockets in Australia, there's pockets in the UK, but we are way ahead of the curve compared with most folks. My daughter, who lives in the Netherlands, I'm going to see her next week. She has a master's in education and tech and has been trying to pull the international school that she works in the Netherlands, pull them into, as she says, the 20th century, not the 21st, with tech, because, teaching online is what's going to happen in the future. And it's very frustrating because the mindset is not there. So, we have that mindset. We have an incredible opportunity to help people further around the globe. So, although I really want people to take their wisdom and use it to help others and generate income from themselves, there's absolutely no doubt that the way you're going to do that today is with video. It was video and with social media. If you don't do that, it ain't going to happen. It's as simple as that.
And you're just missing an opportunity. I mean, think about it. In your medical practice, you have local influence. And if you're in academics, then you have national and international influence because you write papers, you do research. It's not the same as touching a life in the moment and helping somebody overcome an obstacle that day.
Yeah.
And, for our primary care colleagues, they do that on a daily basis. And then, the reach is so amplified if they go ahead and embrace social media.
Your next step.
For you out there, let's talk about some action steps. If people wanted to get started with getting used to doing this, and you said, just do it, but let's be even more concrete. What would you say for somebody who's never really leveraged any social media? Where would you start, and what would you do in the next 30 days?
In the next 30 days, the first thing I would do is look at your website. I would look at your website and see if you have any video of you on your website, because we know that video is not only the most powerful way for you to reach out and influence people, but it's also the most powerful way for them to come to know, like, and trust you. And I do this all the time. I go to a video, there's a really nice photo. Say you're a physician, white coat, stethoscope around your collar. You look great, but it tells me nothing about who you are, how you sound. So for me, if I was even in a group partnership, I would have every single one of the partners just giving a little spiel, saying, hi, my name is Dum-de-Dum-de-Dum, and I specialize in, and I would really like to help you with. Those 2-minute videos will totally separate you, from every other practice, but also they will have you reach out and meet people, because you know what it's like. It's different. When you meet someone, it is totally different from seeing a photograph. I think that would be my first recommendation. And again, you practice a bit first. You don't just do it, because you'll probably be too stiff. And I've got techniques to make you relax and talk more easily. So the first thing I would do is make you become a real person on your website. And then most people have got a Facebook page of some kind or other. And I would start putting videos on the Facebook page. And there's 2 kinds of videos you can put on Facebook pages. Either ones that are Facebook Live, where you literally go out and talk live. That's a bit more intimidating at the beginning. So I would just create a video and put it up on my Facebook page. Facebook is great, but it tends to be the hair. Like you can post a video and then it disappears down the feed. If you've got a good video, I think the place where you really build your reputation, where people can see you as a whole, is on YouTube. You create your own YouTube channel and you start posting little things about your, the sort of ones you put on your website, but also ones about the kinds of diseases that you would treat, what you would do, how long would they likely to be in hospital, all the things that worry folks, the little questions they'd want to ask. If you answer those on a YouTube channel and you build your YouTube channel effectively, you can build an awful lot of authority that way.
Awesome. That's super. So now, if people want to know more about what you're doing, the wisdom to wealth work you do, the YouTube video mastery, the video marketing that you do, where would you like them to find more out about you?
Well, they can find me at my Facebook page. And you don't say website first probably these days. You say Facebook page, which is facebook.com/wisdom2wealthmastery. Or you could email me at info@wisdom2wealthmastery.com, or my website, that is wisdom2wealthmastery.com. And that's where you can find me. Or, these days, just zap me a Facebook message and I'll get back to you.
And if you do, please tell Sue that Dr. Lori sent you to Dr. Sue, the doctor's mentor, referring to another amazing doctor's mentor, somebody I really admire and trust, and just follow every move Sue makes, because she's such an inspiration, the way she lives, the way she shares her message, and the lives she touches. And that's exactly what you want to do. So Sue, last words?
Last words, just hit that red button and get it done. And don't be discouraged. It's one of those videos, one of those things in life. We just keep doing it, you'll get better, and you will benefit mightily from it in the longer term. It's not going to happen next week, but it's an immensely valuable tool to have. And that's what I would say is hit the red button.
For more information about these videos we've been talking about, some other links to Sue and the work she's created, just go to thedoctorsmentor.com. And don't forget, leave us a review on iTunes. Leave us a review for this episode of the podcast so that we can know that you enjoyed this interview with Dr. Sue. We can always have her back to go into more detail about the amazing things she's doing. I so appreciate you sharing this time with us.
Well, Laurie, I'm just so passionate about this. There's another one of Gary Vaynerchuk's quotes that 99% of people are not marketing in the year we're living in, and he's right. And I want to take that 99% and drop it right down to nothing, because in real truth, if you're not marketing in the year we're living in, which is video marketing and social media, you're not going anywhere in the future. That's basically the bottom line.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. You are just so amazing. I just love you.
Oh, right back at you, Laurie.
Are you stopping at a hospital? Hello? Don't you know that hospitals are one of the sickest places on the planet? Don't touch anything in there and get out as fast as you can.